Les gens, les boxeurs comme style vont être très agressifs. Ils ont toujours ces t-shirts un peu à la Tyson, à des shorts de cours, un petit peu.
What I say, you must obey, just like the both of you took my
Et là, Maïva, ce sont les deux. Ah, c'est un vrai coup au fort.
Eh ouais, le crochet au foie, il a touché.
Ah, c'est un vrai coup au fort.
Pendant Bidouan, encore
Maïva
un
va
roule.
reculer au fort.
Allez, ça va être dur là, qui a arrêté.
Oui, forcément, elle remet un genou au sol.
Et elle regarde son point. Ça va dans tous les sens de la part des deux boxeuses. Et tout ça par du bon point. Elle a touché par du bon point. Elle a du mal, Viviane.
Et
Elle a du mal à récupérer.
Okay, we'll start with this. Well, Argentinia's two-division WBA world champion Jessica Bopp is going to be making her big ring return against Juliana Basuelda. It's been approximately 2 years since Jessica Bopp competed in a professional boxing match. Jessica was trying her hand at amateur boxing. She wanted to go on an Olympic run, and it didn't work out. As an amateur, Jessica was last in action in February of last year. It's been 2 years since she had a professional boxing match, a little over 2 years since she had a pro boxing match, and it's been a little over a year since she had an amateur boxing match. That being said, it's been a while since Jessica saw any action of any kind. That kind of inactivity, it's not good for anybody. An athletic fighter, least of all, a bouncy one, a normally sharp one, like Jessica Bopp. Jessica, who campaigns in the light flyweight division, that's 108 pounds, where she holds WBA title. Mexico's own Yesenia Gomez, she holds the WBC title. Evelyn Bermudez, the younger sister of Daniela Bermudez. Evelyn, she holds the IBF title. And Sinicia Estriada holds WBO title.
One she just won from Tenkai Tsunami.
And the biggest fight Jessica Bopp could hope to have in the near future really is that Sinicia Estrada fight. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to see Jessica unify against Yesenia Gomez or Evelyn Bermudez, but Yesenia and Evelyn, they're not with a major outfit, a major promoter that has a major platform deal like Golden Boy Promotions.
At least for the time being.
Things are a little bit immaterial right now at Golden Boy Promotions. We don't know if they're going to stay in bed with DAZN or if they're going to climb into bed with Triller. Some people believe that they are.
And they might.
So between the inactivity, what has been the inactivity of Jessica Bopp, and the instability Golden Boy Promotions right now, it's safe to say we shouldn't expect to see Estrada versus Bopp anytime soon. Jessica Bopp must first make it through Basualdo, which reads a lot like a tune-up fight, a keep busy fight, and you know, beyond that, she might have another one.
I could see her having another tune-up fight before this year is out.
Estrada versus Bopp really is the very best fight anywhere at or around these weights. Make no mistake. You hear a lot about Shields versus Marshall, Taylor versus Serrano, but this fight in particular, this fight is a super fight.
Like those fights are super fights.
Perhaps not on the same scale as those fights, because a lot of people here in America, they're not actually familiar with Jessica Bopp the way they might be, a little bit more familiar with Savania Marshall or Katie Taylor. Now, a lot of people don't know who Jessica Bopp is.
In terms of skill for skill.
In terms of the best versus the best, by far and wide, this is the most excellent fight of all the excellent fights that could take place at or around these weights. It's an even contest, and I'm hoping that at some point next year, we'll get to see it once the smoke settles and certain things that aren't yet situated, that need to be situated, once all of that gets ironed out. In women's bantamweight news, it appears that the all-Australian battle between experienced veteran Shannon O'Connell and up-and-comer Taylor Robertson, it's back on. Shannon posted this via her Instagram stories. We talked about this here on the channel, how Taylor Robertson, via her own Instagram account, stated that Shannon backed out. Appears that the fight is back on. Don't know what the discrepancy was, but apparently whatever issue was there, it's been resolved. And I maintain my original position.
No, my original concerns.
Taylor Robertson ain't even got 5 fucking fights. On paper, it's too soon for this. Way too soon. And the way that Shannon O'Connell has been carrying on, giving all these unbeaten girls their first professional losses, this is risky. This is very risky.
Shit, I felt that Taylor dodged the bullet.
But apparently the fight's back on, set to go down late next month on the 23rd. Shannon O'Connell's a gunslinger. Very aggressive, strong puncher, experienced. I don't know why it is that Taylor Robertson's people want to put her in a situation like this when they don't have to. Taylor's a young fighter. She's got her whole career ahead of her. She doesn't need a fight like this right now, but this is what they want to do.
It's gutsy.
But ill-advised. If Taylor Robertson is a better fighter, indeed a better fighter, than what we've seen so far, and if she's ready for a fight like this, it's not on paper.
And we haven't seen it yet.
She'll get her chance to show up and show out October 23rd, barring any unforeseen circumstances upsetting the apple cart. These two are set to meet in the very near future in a matter of weeks, and you know, I think you have to give Shannon the edge here. It's the logical way to look at it. In other news, I'm sure most of you have heard by now, per Dan Raphael and his sources, that the September 18th Showtime card, topped by Figueroa versus Fulton 122-pound unification fight, has been postponed due to Figueroa testing positive for COVID. New date not set yet, and this is disappointing because this is one of the few PBC fights that I was looking forward to. Stephen Fulton reacted to the news by way of his social media account. He stated, "Prayers out to Brandon. Hope he recovers. I did everything great on my end. Testing, sparring partners, and coaches. Even isolating myself from my family and friends for months. Of course I'm upset, but I've been here before. I'll be even stronger come October. Never make me mad."
It's very sportsmanlike of Stefan.
Not letting this get him down to roll with the punches and keep grafting. Keep working on his ring craft. Those of you that follow this channel will already know that I liked Stefan to win the fight before this news broke. I like him to win the fight even more now because we don't know how this COVID stuff is going to affect Brandon Figueroa. Could it affect Brandon the way it affected Alexander Povetkin ahead of the Dillian White rematch? There's a lot of people out there.
They think that COVID beat Alexander before Dillian put the pause on him.
Alexander's manager said as much. So could Brandon testing positive for COVID-19, could that affect Brandon, his ability to perform moving forward, the way it affected Alexander Povetkin, the way it's still affecting Rachel Ball, who's been out of action a while?
I was never that impressed with Brandon Figueroa.
Even with his big win over the then unbeaten Luis Nery. It was a fun little fight to watch, it was, but the aesthetic of that match and what it indicated to me is that neither Luis Nery or Brandon Figueroa are defensive wizards. These guys are going hell for leather, and there are lots of holes in there, lots of gaps that a skilled puncher, an educated one like Stephen Fulton, could have exploited.
If one of them were fighting him.
I said it in the build-up of their fight. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter if Luis Nery wins. It doesn't matter if Brandon wins, because I've got Stephen Fulton beating the both of those guys. I was very impressed with what I saw from Stephen Fulton in the Angelo Leo fight. The then unbeaten reigning WBO champion Angelo Leo had a real good scrap, real good Donnybrook with Stephen Fulton. That's how Stephen won the WBO title, and I like his chances. I already liked his chances against Brandon Figueroa before this news broke. I like them now even more.
How he places his punches.
The shortness and sharpness of them, as opposed to the wide shots of Brandon Figueroa, who compromises a substantial amount of defense for offense. The feeling is that the fight might get moved to sometime in October, maybe late October or early November.
It's disappointing.
The fight was originally set to go down in a little over a week's time. The fight was right around the corner, and I was waiting for this one. This fight will bring consolidation to the super bantamweight division. Once the smoke settles, there will be only two champions remaining, two unified champions at 122 pounds.
Winner of this fight,
unified champion of Uzbekistan, MJ Akhmadaliev. Listen, what happens beyond this fight, what happens after that, your guess is as good as mine. Politics could get in the way of an undisputed title fight between them. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. In other news, per tweet from Mike Coppinger, Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, has signed a contract to call a gamecast of Saturday's boxing event headlined by Evander Holyfield and Victor Belfort. Triller tells ESPN the former president's son, Donald Trump Jr., will join him. Both Trumps will be in person in Hollywood, Florida. And, you know, if you're an 80s baby like I am, you'll know that Donald Trump, he's actually a very big boxing fan. He has been for many years. This news broke late yesterday, and it was received with mixed reviews. Not necessarily because of the political angle and whatever political allegiances you guys out there might have, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat.
This isn't about who you voted for.
This is about boxing. And the people over there at Triller felt so inclined to allow the former president to commentate on this upcoming Holyfield versus Victor Belfort fight, and you have to wonder, what are they thinking? How do you interpret a move like this? Is this a last-ditch effort to garner the card some press, get it some more notoriety, add something to it to perhaps try and make it more attractive by adding a very polarizing political figure?
Is this an act of desperation?
It feels like one. I reiterate, regardless of your political ties, your political allegiances, who you voted for versus who someone else may have voted for, it's safe to say that Donald Trump is a very polarizing figure.
He is.
Are the people of there, Triller, Ryan Kavanaugh, and all those guys, are they hoping to use that polarization as a marketing tool, a marketing angle to garner this card more attention? Because essentially all it is a bunch of old guys swapping punches.
Who really wants to see that?
The whole goddamn thing is pretty strange. What need does Donald Trump have to call a fight for Triller? What's he get out of that? Couple of dollars? I'm sure he's got more than enough money to spare.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that guy's strapped for cash.
The whole thing's in keeping with the irreverent and symbolic nature of Triller's footprint in the world of combat sports so far, attempting to integrate themselves into the world of boxing in their own way, shape, and form.
It's unique, to say the least.
It just feels like they're doing anything and everything they can to get this card some attention. They've gone as far as allowing Donald Trump to commentate. They threw a little bit of shade at Mike Tyson earlier this week, indicating that, Mike didn't want no parts of Evander Holyfield. That news arrived right on time.
Right on time for fight week.
I didn't give that news much air. I didn't give it much attention because it really does feel like a last-ditch effort to get this card as much attention as they can. And none of it, I mean none of it, has me reaching for my wallet. None of it makes this card any more attractive.
Yeah, I'm not buying this thing.
There isn't a single fight, not a single fight on that entire card that I want to see, that I'm willing to pay for. Stirring the pot with Mike Tyson, adding Donald Trump to the commentary team, none of it, I mean none of it, makes the least bit of fucking difference to me. Finally, former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder posted a 6-minute-long montage/training video
to his Instagram account.
He's been doing this a lot lately, posting these montage videos to his social media. I don't really know what the intention is. I don't really know what these are for.
Is this their way of promoting the fight?
No, like a Rocky montage.
Is this like one of those things? I really don't know, because in many ways he's showing his cards. He's showing the entire world what he's been working on, Tyson Fury included. I mean, if the plan is to approach this fight as a different fighter than the fighter that you were in the first two fights, why would you broadcast everything that it is you're doing, everything that you're working on? When Anthony Joshua lost that fight to Andy Ruiz, in preparation for the rematch, in preparation for the second fight, you didn't see that guy very much. You didn't hear from that guy very much. He went underground.
Grafting.
Worked on his ring craft. Did what he needed to do. Made the adjustments to secure the victory in the rematch. And the whole time, you didn't see him broadcast everything that he was doing, everything that he was working on.
And I'm not trying to chastise anybody.
This whole thing feels very theatrical. Very rehearsed. Portion of the video, we see that Wilder lands a body shot on Malik Scotch, who is incapacitated. He needs a drink of water.
All feels very rehearsed.
At first glance, I can't get a read as to just what exactly this is all intended to do, what it's all for. I've actually given up interpreting.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't care. In case you guys haven't noticed, last couple of weeks, last couple of months, the uploads, they don't touch on this subject very much. I don't broach it very much because I'm not interested.
I don't care.
But if I am to interpret this and try and wrap my mind around it, this is one of several training videos we've seen from Deontay Wilder as of late. You know, in one video, he's lifting up a log. Another video, he's going for a swim. Another video, he's showing you his personal best on the bench.
Why would they want to show everyone what he's been working on?
As far as preparation, strategy, what's the strategy here? Why are you showing everyone what it is you're working on? I mean, doesn't that effectively remove any element of surprise that might have been working in your favor ahead of the third fight, ahead of the trilogy, which is fast approaching? Or, You know, is this just what passes for promotion between Wilder and Fury? Because the last time Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury were in the same room, Deontay was at a loss for words. He did absolutely nothing to help sell this fight.
Couldn't find his voice.
For all the hooping and hollering he does when he's in a circle of his own friends, a circle of his own peers, when Tyson Fury was right in front of him, he didn't have anything to say.
Quiet as a church mouse.
You know, I haven't abandoned the idea that everything that we're seeing is meant for us to see it, that this entire fiasco between them, it could be scripted, it could be staged. I haven't abandoned the idea that there's more at work here than meets the eye. When I view this training video, Deontay Wilder and Malik Scotch, Deontay doesn't look like a different fighter. He looks like the same guy that's trying to do new things. And he's had over a year to graft, to prepare.
And he looks the same.
A fighter that has as much of an affinity as Deontay Wilder has had in the past for regalia and theatricality. I don't dismiss the possibility that, you know what, this whole goddamn thing might be scripted.
Nothing would surprise me.
Nothing does anymore. I don't rule out the possibility that this is all a show. And you know what? If it's not a show, and we're just going to take all of this at face value, we're just going to take it for what it is. Deontay don't look like a different fighter. It's been over a year since the last fight. It's been well over a year since February of last year. And he looks like the same guy. He didn't enlist the aid of a Freddie Roach, or a Buddy McGirt, or a Robert Garcia, a Joel Diaz, a Manny Robles. You know, somebody with actual experience in this field. He's merely promoted somebody who was already in his corner, one of his old buddies.
So Malik is taking a more active role.
And he's got Wilder doing different things. Things that perhaps he wasn't doing before. How do we know that as soon as Wilder goes in that ring and gets hit clean for the first time, he don't go back to doing what he always does?
Resorts to what he knows.
Resort to it comes naturally. I mean, this entire thing with Deontay and Tyson, it's long, it's drug out, and it's boring. Like the situation with Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos Jr. You want this to be this big showdown, this very big fight, but it just doesn't have the big fight feel.
Feels rehearsed.
Like everything else about Deontay Wilder. It feels rehearsed. It feels theatrical. It feels disingenuous. I don't know if this is little more than his guys trying to help him regain his confidence. Honest to God, I don't know what the hell the point.
You uploaded 6 minutes of training footage to Instagram.
Do you guys remember the secrecy around Conor McGregor's sparring footage ahead of what was supposed to be the Floyd Mayweather Jr. crossover fight?
All we got were like 30 seconds.
Generally speaking, you don't often see a lot of guys upload 6 minutes of training footage in preparation for a match.
Am I the only one who finds that peculiar?
It's bizarre, but Deontay, he has become a pretty bizarre guy since that second fight. So, I mean, this is just in keeping with that theme.